Hey guys, my name is Michelle and welcome back to my channel. This week is another reading vlog, and in my previous vlog I went to a library and did a small little library haul. And in my library haul I picked up Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. It is a contemporary fiction with horror elements. I am 57 pages in so far. I read 57 pages straight last night. Today is August 20th. I read this on August 19th. And so far I'm liking it. We're following the main character Vesper. She was a part of a religious cult growing up, and at age 18 she left the cult. And one of the rules of the cult is if you leave it, you are never allowed to come back. So she is, navigating her life 6 years post leaving the cult. It's not going well for her. So she, she's living her life, navigating her new life, not being able to return to the church, trying to figure out how to maneuver this new life, until she receives an invitation from her cousin, who is still part of the cult and living on the farm. And it's a wedding invitation. And she's getting married to her ex-boyfriend. And she's like, what the heck? So she's already skeptical about it because, again, once you leave the church, you're never allowed to come back. So she's kind of like, is this a trap? Is this a trick? Like, what's going on? She's like, you know what? I'll go to the wedding. And the only reason why she goes, she accepts the invitation is because she's mad that her cousin is marrying her ex-boyfriend, that, her first love. And she's like, I'm gonna go there to spite them. Vesper is not, so far, what I'm reading about Vesper is that she's not a good person. She has narcissistic tendencies. She's very cruel and cold. I think, that's the point of this character. I feel like I'm not really supposed to like her because I don't like her. Like, Vesper, her mind child, she needs a therapist, okay? Being in that cult for so long, girl. So far, it's moving pretty quickly. I just got to the part where she, got to the farm. She reunited with her cousin, reunited with her family members. And another side note, her mom is a scream queen. Apparently her mom was featured in a lot of horror films, and then she retreated to the farm. Like, she became a part of this religious cult. And this is me assuming so far because obviously I haven't read further, but I think the mom quit doing acting and is just part of the religion now. The main character has serious mommy issues. So this is gonna be really interesting. There's daddy issues and then there's mommy issues. And personally, I think having mommy issues is more intense than having daddy issues. But anyways, so she clearly has mommy issues. We are introduced to her mom as soon as she gets to the farm. The mom is already on her bullshit. Like, she's already like snarky and mean and cold and already making some slick comments, and we're like, okay, so we're about to witness a lot of family dynamics here. So I'm really interested to see how the book is gonna go. That's the update I have for now. And I'm still making my way through Ashes of Star-Cursed King, y'all. I am not going to talk about that book until probably near the end of this vlog when I finally finish it. Again, I am buddy reading that with my friend, and we've just been so busy we haven't been able to like catch up together at the same time, so we've had to like wait on each other. But I'm reading it to the side. I promise I'll give you guys an in-depth review and an update as soon as I finish it. I just don't want to like keep hopping in and being like, I haven't read it, y'all, I haven't read it. But I am just currently gonna focus on Black Sheep right now for the vlog. And my next update, this is not a long book, it's only 289 pages. So my next update should be probably when I finish this book. And then I did go to a Japanese store the other day and I got some goodies and I wanted to share with you guys. So the first goodie that I got is the first book in the Twilight Princess manga. I wanted to wait for them to put it all in a big like collector's edition, but I was at the store, it was calling out to me, I wanted it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna purchase it. And hey, if there's a collector's edition that does come out, I'm going to buy it. Okay, so I went ahead and purchased it. I love Legend of Zelda. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. I literally have like Zelda tattoos. I have Master Sword here. I have Navi from Ocarina of Time saying, hey, listen. So huge Zelda fan here. I had to get the first book. I'm not really a huge anime fan, but I love Full Metal Alchemist. That's like the only manga I've like read through completely when I was in high school. Loved it. So I'm currently collecting the hardback editions. So I saw volume 3 because I have volume 1 and volume 2, and I think there's 27 volumes. So I went ahead and got volume 3. I'm hoping to collect the rest of it throughout the year. So yeah, I'm gonna probably do a reading vlog. Wouldn't that be cool? Would y'all like that? Would y'all like a Full Metal Alchemist manga reading vlog? Comment with the robot emoji, okay? Yeah, because that might be a thing. The next thing I got is My Neighbor Totoro. Totoro? I always say Totoro. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but whatever. Cute little tote bag. Nothing in it, but it's cute, okay? And then, guys, look. I got a Sony Angel. They have the little dinosaur editions out, and they're so cute. Like, look at all the little dinosaurs. Like, I don't care which one I get because they're all cute. I love dinosaurs. I love Sony Angels. Look what's in this edition. It's so cute. And I wanted to unbox it here with you guys. So fingers crossed that I get whichever one, honestly. I don't care. They're all cute. So yeah, let's unbox this. Let's see what we got. Okay. It's in a little foil. I might have to get scissors for this. Okay. She's so cute. Oh my goodness. Look, I got a little Triceratops. Oh my god. Look at her. She is adorable. Look how cute. Oh my goodness. I'm taking her to work. But yeah, I just wanted to share that little haul with you guys, and I will see you on the next reading update. Hey guys, here with another update, but not really an update. So right now I'm in a cabin in the mountains, and I brought my books with me because I'm gonna see if I can fit in any reading while I'm on vacation. It's just a small vacation in the mountains. So I brought Black Sheep. I haven't read since the previous clip, but I'm hoping I can finish it this weekend while I'm here in the cabin. And just in case I finish this, I brought Such Sharp Teeth. And obviously I brought my Kindle to continue reading Ashes of Star-Cursed King. I would love to also finish it this weekend because I think it's been 2 months now since I'm working through this book. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever taken that long, but hey, it's gonna get read. We're gonna read it, we're gonna finish it. I'm hoping that is the goal for this vlog, but if not, it's fine. Y'all will find out near the end of the vlog if I finished it or not, okay? And y'all wanna see something really, really cool in this room? We have a basketball hoop player thing in the room. This is so random, but whatever. Whatever. I guess it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. So I already feel like this cabin is haunted only because I was in the restroom and I heard knocking and I thought that it was my husband, and I was like, almost done, you know, I'll be out there in a second. And then, you know, I'm like washing my hands or whatever, and I hear another knock and I'm like, oh my god, like, don't rush me, don't be annoying. I open the door and there's nobody there, and I'm like, hell no. We have a ghost. We have a ghost in this cabin. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, and y'all know the Appalachian Mountains is cursed. It's haunted. I have knocking on the doors already. I'm like, guys, there's like 9 other people here. Do not pick me, okay? Go torture, haunt somebody else, not me. I'm trying to relax. I had a long week. I had a long 2 weeks, okay? Like, don't haunt me. Leave me alone, please. No ghosts. But anyways, I told my husband, he's like, it's probably just the dryer that's going on, because there's a dryer next to the bathroom. But no, there was a knock on that door and there was nobody knocking on that door. So that was 100% a ghost. So maybe we'll see a ghost on this vlog. Who knows? Who knows? Hey friends, so reading update. I finished Black Sheep and I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I don't know, like when I finished it, I was just kind of like, okay. It was okay. Literally didn't feel anything, didn't learn anything new. We follow Vesper, the main character, as she goes through her religious trauma, as she goes back to the cult that she left. And the book really didn't introduce anything new to the themes. Like, a lot of it is stuff, I don't want to say I know or experience, but themes I've already read about in different stories. And this book didn't really give me new perspective on anything. And I was just kind of like, okay, you know, throughout the whole time I was reading this. And a lot of the horror elements that were popping up in the book, because, you know, there were some parts where it was getting a little creepy, kind of disappeared after a few chapters. I was just like, okay. And then especially after a big reveal happens, which I predicted the whole story, by the way. Like, when she got to the wedding and stuff was happening, some creepy stuff was happening, I guessed 2 plot twists and I was right. So the story was pretty predictable. It was creepy until it got to the first plot twist. It revealed the creepy elements that was happening in the book, so it kind of ruined that, and the horror kind of dissipated for me. The unknown is part of the horror. It's what makes stuff scary, right? So when the reveal happened, the first reveal happened, it took that mystery away, and then it was no longer scary. It was no longer horror for me. It was just kind of like, oh. And then it kind of went downhill a little bit for me after the second plot twist, and it got a little corny near the end because it was giving very much final girl situation. Vesper was something was going to happen to Vesper, and she had to get out, and she had like a final girl moment, and she had a lot of corny lines, and I'm like, okay, we're saying stuff like this right now. And after that happens, she escapes, we get an epilogue, and even the epilogue wasn't so satisfying. I liked it at first, but again, I feel like the reveals kind of ruined the horror to it. And then the family dynamics that we were supposed to be exploring in the book, it wasn't really explored. Like, Vesper's mother does not like her. Constance, right? That's her name. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the previous clip, but she is like a horror actress icon, and it's brought up in the book a lot that she's a horror actress, she's a scream queen, but I don't see how that was related to the story, because it doesn't add to the story. It just, basically the only thing that it adds is that their mansion that they live in, well, more like a Victorian home, is very creepy and very gothic, and the mom is very gothic, but it doesn't really add anything to the story. But it's talked about a lot in the book that she's like the scream queen, this horror icon, but it didn't add or take away anything. So I don't know why that was mentioned so much throughout the book. And, you know, we still don't understand why. Like, when the book ended, maybe it's me, I don't know, maybe I missed something, but I still don't understand why Vesper's mother hated Vesper. Like, she hated her, didn't want anything to do with her. Maybe it's something related to the religious cult that they're in, and maybe she resented her. That's the only thing I can kind of pick up on. But other than that, it wasn't really like explained well why she like detested her daughter and was so cold and so like detached from everything. So that was never explored. That didn't make sense to me. We had another character that was pretty big in the book, Rosie, which was Vesper's best friend. She also played a bigger role, but at the same time, she was very one-sided to me. She was like a yes man to Vesper. That's all that I picked up on. She feared her, and she basically kissed her ass a lot, because as you read the book, you find out that Vesper is a very important member of the cult, and that's as far as I'm gonna go. If you guys are interested in reading it, I'm not gonna spoil anything more, but she is very important to the community. So Rosie, her best friend, kissed her ass a lot, appeased her a lot. But maybe that's just the point of her character, that she's one-dimensional because she kissed her ass a lot. But I still didn't like her. I didn't like anybody. Vesper was alright. She was okay for a main character. Like, I understood why she was the way that she was, because she grew up in such a traumatic childhood. But I still didn't feel connected to her. And yeah, so it was alright. I spent the whole day today was a whole reading day. We're still at the cabin. I spent most of it reading because I wanted to finish it. And yeah, I mean, it was okay. The writing was okay. The story was alright. Again, I didn't walk away with anything new. No new perspective, no new nothing. I don't know, I walked away feeling nothing. I was just like, okay, that was a mid book. All right. So that was my first Rachel Harrison book. I still have her other book. I am gonna read it. Probably not today, because I read a lot today. My brain is like, yeah, so that is my reading update, and I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna do next. Bye. Hey guys, here with another update. I'm back in my house. I'm not at the cabin anymore. It was a great time. I saw a mama and her little cubs. It was so cute. But it's also very, very terrifying because bears are scary, and I hate that they're friend-shaped. Like, if so scary, why friend-shaped? Why are they round? Why are they cute? Why do they have cute noses if they can maul you to death? It doesn't make sense to me. It was a fun time. I was only able to read Black Sheep because, you know, obviously I was with family, so I finished Black Sheep during, you know, my downtimes at the cabin. It's a great time. It was a great unwind, a great rest. And I have great news, kind of. I'll get into it in a second. As I got back from the cabin, I was like, okay, let's make it a mission to finish Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. And I did it, guys. I finished it. I'm gonna complain. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I'm gonna be complaining a little bit, but my final rating is 4 stars. I'm gonna get to why it's a 4-star, even though I'm about to like start ranting. I did love this book. I love Aurea. I love Rain. I love their love, and I love watching them work through that love, that angst, that anger, that hurt from how book 1 ended. I'm gonna keep my thoughts vague because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm trying to make sure that like I'm as spoiler free as possible. So the issue that I'm having with this book is that the pacing was not that great. I'm buddy reading this with my friend, and we were talking about it this morning. Like, we were going in this morning because she had the same thoughts, and I'm like, okay, thank God. Like, I thought I was gonna be the only one here, but we pretty much shared the same reading thoughts and the same feelings and thoughts with books because she also buddy read One Dark Window with me, and girl, like, okay. Anyways, I'm sidetracking. So we both agreed that the pacing was very, very off in this book. There were a lot of filler in the book. A lot of things happened that progressed the plot, and then there was a lot of chapters where it was just filler, like parties and ballroom and dancing and flirting and meeting with certain court members and this and that, and I'm just like, listen, if you're going to make your story a duology, I'm not saying you're not allowed to have filler in your book, you're not allowed to have fluff, because that's just fantasy. Fantasy is always going to have some filler. You know, you got to fill in the in-between, right? But it can't be a good chunk of your book, especially if your story is a duology. And I feel like that was the issue here with Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. There was a lot of filler, which kind of threw me off because book 1 was super fast-paced. It was like bam, 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 filler here, filler there, but other than that, bam, bam, bam. This one was a lot of bam, filler, bam, filler. And I'm just like, holy crap, how are we gonna wrap up the story? When the story did wrap up, I have mixed feelings. Like, I feel satisfied by the way the book ended, but at the same time, I don't, because I feel like a lot of the things that happened in the book were super convenient, and it gave me whiplash. I'm like, what? How did this happen? Where did this come from? Oh, how convenient. You know, it was just too easy. There was a lot of high stakes. There's a lot going on. A lot was happening. A lot could have been lost. And I had a lot of anxiety near the end of the book because a lot was happening. And I was like, oh my God, like, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen. But then everything didn't go that way, and everything ended very easily, and I was satisfied because I was scared about certain things happening, but at the same time, it kind of left me unsatisfied because all this buildup, all this anxiety about what's gonna happen, this war that's gonna happen, right? And then everything just gets wrapped up too nicely, too conveniently. It kind of felt a little like, I know it's fantasy and you have to, you know, suspend your belief, but there were certain plot points where I was like, this is not believable to me. Like it kind of threw me out of the story, and I was like, what? Huh? What? I don't believe that. Even though it's a fantasy book, I don't believe that. And the tone in the second book shifted 180 from book one. Book one was very dark, was very violent, was very like, it didn't hold back. But in book two, a lot was held back, and I just wasn't happy in the direction it was going. I was a little disappointed, but I do love Carissa's writing. Her writing is amazing. Her characterizations are great. But my only issue was that, and I think this might be a romantasy thing. I know there's a lot of like discourse going around about romantasy books and how they're mid and not good. And I get it. And I think the problem is with romantasy, it is at its core still a romance book. So we are just focusing on the couples, and everything else is just like, you know, the fantasy is the setting, you know, to support the story, right? So I know at my core, my favorite genre is fantasy for a reason. I love when authors can explore different characters, different subplots, and just bring it all together. I had that expectation in a romantasy, and I had to remind myself, this is a romantasy book. We're going to only be focusing on Rain and Aurea, even though in the first book, a lot of like secondary characters were brought in that I found interesting, but everybody else in book two just felt very one-dimensional except for Rain and Aurea. I kind of wish that the series was more fantasy than romantasy. I feel like it would have just been like 10 across the board, but alas, it is a romantasy book. We only focus on the couples, and I think that's what kind of disappointed me a little bit, because a lot of subplots were kind of like dropped just for the sake of focusing on the couple. And the way that it ended, it was obvious that the author, Carissa, she's going to continue the series. I feel like there's going to be an overarching plot across the series, because the way it ended, it's like something's going to happen. Like we're going to start building up to something different, but we are going to be focusing on different couples. I don't know how I feel about needing to continue to read a series where I have to focus on a couple just for the plot, just for the overarching plot, because the overarching plot is great. Carissa is amazing at world building. The lore is so great. Like I loved it. And I'm really, really excited to read her other series, Daughter of No Worlds. I forgot the name. So I'm excited to read that because apparently that one is very good too. But again, I just had my own expectations about book two. I gave it 4 stars. I still liked it. It's just, it went in a direction that I personally wasn't expecting or wanted. I still recommend it. I give both books, the duology, and the novella, I give it like 4.5 stars. So I do recommend it. I am going to read the next book, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. I don't know when. Probably not for this vlog, maybe the next one, I don't know. In November, that's when the 3rd book in the series comes out, and my friend she's down to buddy read it. She's super interested to see where the story's gonna go. Yeah, we just want to see how the overarching plot is gonna play out. We're curious enough to continue it. We're a little worried, you know, because the person that we're gonna follow, we both didn't feel a connection to. Her name is Mish, and she's like Rain's best friend / Aurea's best friend. So we're going to be following that character, and we're interested to see how the story goes. So I will be picking it up in November when it drops. On to the next update. So as I stated, I finished Black Sheep, and I did check out another Rachel Harrison book, Such Sharp Teeth. And I know I stated in the past that I don't like to look at Goodread reviews because I want to form my own opinion. I went on Goodreads because I was like, listen, I was disappointed in Black Sheep. I don't want my time wasted. So I looked up reviews on Such Sharp Teeth, and apparently Rachel Harrison's writing style is mostly contemporary fiction with some horror elements, but the horror elements aren't there. like that. It is not the main central focus. It's just sprinkled on there for some pizzazz, and that's it. It's not like horror at all. And I'm like, oh, and the werewolf stuff that happens in here isn't even like that. Like, it's just like a side thing, like, oh, I got bit by a werewolf, oh my god, I'm a werewolf now. But that's it. We're following the main character, Rory, that's the main character's name. We're following her and her family drama and then her toxic relationship. And I was reading more like spoiler-free reviews, and people were like, where's the werewolf? Where's the horror? Nothing. We're just following her and her toxic relationship and then her family drama. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna pass on this. I really thought this was gonna be a cool, like, female rage werewolf story, but no, she just becomes a werewolf, and that's barely like brought up, and she just doesn't do anything else with that. And apparently the main character is like a cool girl type character, and I hate the cool girl type. Like, I hate that trope. I hate it. And I'm just like, no, we're good. So I don't know if Rachel Harrison is for me, because I did put on hold her next book that's coming out, and it's like a vampire book. But if both of her stories are like that, I don't know. And I know I have Cackle downstairs, but apparently Cackle is good. It's different. So I might give Cackle a try, but I'm gonna have to return this to the library. And another thing, I am going to the beach in a few days. I wanted to take 28 Summers as, like, you know, my beach read. The problem is I got a notification from the library that I have to return this because there's somebody who placed it on hold and they want to read it. And I'm like, oh, great. I can't take this to the beach because the due date is before I go to the beach. So I will be returning these to the library. The dilemma that I'm having is, what am I going to read next? On the next clip, hopefully I have the book of my choice. And yeah, so I'm going to go figure that out now. And the next time you see me, I will be at the beach. Hey guys, final update for this vlog. So I know in my previous clip I left off saying that I need to find out like what I'm gonna read next. Also, please excuse my voice. I'm coming down with a cold. I came back from the beach, and the next day I sound like this, and I'm like, great, love that. Anyways, in my previous clip, I mentioned that I have to figure out what I'm gonna read next. My reading plans just went straight to shit, and I had no other backup plan. So I was talking to my friend, and we used to buddy read a lot. We just haven't buddy read in a while because the books that we've buddy read before were just like DNFs, or we just weren't liking it, and we're like, you know what, like, let's just take a break from buddy reading. But anyways, I was talking to him about like reading and stuff like that, and he was listening to the novelizations of the Halloween movies, and he's like, dang, I don't know what to read next. And then I told him about Project Hail Mary because I forgot how we got into the subject, but he was telling me about sci-fi, and I was like, hey, like, I don't read sci-fi like that, but I did hear that Project Hail Mary is a really, really, really good sci-fi book, especially on Audible. He's like, okay. And I was like, listen, I'll buddy read with you because I don't have any books right now to read. And he was like, okay, sure. So I listened to the first 4 chapters by myself. And then on the road trip to the beach, my husband and I listened like a good chunk of it, like almost half of it, on our way to the beach. And he also like loved it. He's like, oh my God, this is great. And I was like, right. And then we listened to the rest of it on our way back to the beach. And that was a fantastic read, guys. That was a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It was a fun experience to listen to an audiobook on a road trip. I've seen booktubers do it before, and I always thought to myself, like, really, an audiobook on a road trip? Wouldn't that be boring? No. My husband and I had a blast listening to Project Hail Mary. It was so much fun. It literally was like a movie. Like, we were watching a movie for like almost 6 hours there and back, and it was great. We had a great time. We were like emotional, we were gasping, we're like, and it was great. And then my friend who buddy read it with me also loved it. Like,
we all got emotional near the end. It was so great. I did bring my Kindle to the beach to see if maybe I can also read something there, but like I was so distracted because my husband and I, we were just like exploring everywhere, eating everywhere. We were doing everything at the beach, so I didn't have time to actually like sit down and read there. But I did get to listen to an audiobook and it was a great time. 10 out of 10. I think Project Hail Mary is also going to be one of my top reads for the year. It was so good. I'm not into sci-fi, not because I don't like the genre, it's just that I'm not really familiar with it, and it kind of like scratched an itch, especially when there was like certain chapters where it got super science heavy. Like I was eating that shit up. I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but yes, I love it. Science, physics, everything, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I loved every single bit of it. I will say that the main character, Ryland Grace, he was really annoying at first, and I was like, uh-oh, like I don't do well when the main character is annoying. But he grew on me. His journey was crazy. I didn't even talk about what the book was about. So we're following Dr. Ryland Grace. He is actually a middle school science teacher, and he was in academia before, but he left it because he just wasn't happy with it and was a middle school science grade teacher. And then the son, there's something going on with the son, it's like a star-eating cell or something. I don't remember. There's a lot of science words thrown in that book, so like I'm not gonna remember everything, but like it was described as like a star-eating algae. It started eating away at the sun, and so all the scientists are trying to figure out what's going on. And Ryland apparently wrote a paper a while ago that actually got him kicked out of academia, and this like Dutch top official lady person, government agent person, met him at his school and was like, hey, I read this paper you wrote and I feel like you could really help us figure out what's going on. And he was like, okay. I mean, at first he didn't want to do it, but then he had no choice. So he gets on the team and he basically, you know, does experiments, tries to figure out what's going on with this thing, this algae, sun-eating thing. And yeah, you're just following him on that journey. And he also, like, in the beginning of the book, he wakes up with amnesia, so he doesn't know what's going on. He wakes up in this ship, his crewmates are dead, and so you're following him with these flashbacks, how he gets to the current point. And it's just the storytelling is so good. And I'm not gonna say anything else because I feel like everything else would be spoilers, because you kind of start like figuring things out as he gets his memory back. It's so good. The ending was so satisfying. Like I was so emotional. 10 out of 10 book. Highly recommend it. Loved it. And so yeah, that was technically my beach read. I did go to a bookstore, of course, when I'm on vacation. If I find a bookstore, like I'm gonna go to the bookstore because that's just how I am. And I went to a bookstore and I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can find a book that will pull me in, maybe help me get through this reading slump, because I still feel like I am in a reading slump, especially after all my reading plans were derailed. I have a little mini haul. So first thing I picked up was the Aliens movie novelization. I am currently rewatching all of the Alien movies. I just last night, or was it the night before? It was the night before. I watched Alien Resurrection, so I'm still making my way. I have to watch Covenant next, and I think, no. I have to watch Prometheus and then Covenant, and then I can watch the new Alien movie. So I'm trying to like make my way through the Alien movies. So I loved Aliens. Like, of course, the first Alien movie is like 10 out of 10 top horror movie. I love Alien. Aliens was also great. It was more on the action-y side, because Alien is more like, I guess you could say survival horror, like if I'm talking video game terms, survival horror, and then Aliens is more action-y horror. But I loved Aliens. I loved the ending of Aliens. Sigourney Weaver was mothering, and yeah, great movie. So when I saw this, I was like, I'm gonna pick it up, and whenever I have a chance, I'll read the novelization of it. Oh yeah, and my ranking so far of the Alien movies is Alien number 1, Aliens number 2, number 3 is Alien Resurrection. That was a fun movie. Like, it wasn't like a great movie, but it was fun. And then it has my girl Winona Ryder. I love her. And then fourth ranking is Alien 3. Everybody hates that movie. That movie is trash. I was telling my husband that. I was like, yo, like everybody hates Alien 3. Like it is not a good movie. So he was like, oh, okay. So when we got to Alien 3 and then the movie finished, he looked at me, he was like, wow, that was a terrible movie. I'm like, I told you. Everybody does not like the movie. Like the direction that it went, the storytelling and everything, I was like, what is this, honey? Like, this is not a good movie. So when we got to Alien Resurrection, it was a nice change of pace. Like, it still wasn't a good movie, but it was a lot better than Alien 3 and I had fun with it. So yeah, that's my ranking. So we have Alien, Aliens, Alien Resurrection, and then Alien 3. And then obviously we'll see how that ranking changes when I get to the other Alien movies. And then I got God Killer, and this is a fantasy book that has queer representation. But yeah, so basically we're going to be following this main character who kills gods for a living, and when I read the synopsis, I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. You know, maybe I'll like this. Maybe this will put me back into a fantasy mood. So we have God Killer. And then, okay, so I've seen this author everywhere, Darcy Coates. She's literally like the female version of Stephen King. And I don't mean that in like writing or storytelling type of way. I mean it as in like when you go to the bookstore and you go to the horror section, it's like straight Stephen King for like 3 shelves. Like I've even been to bookstores where it's like a whole shelf is dedicated to Stephen King. And then after that, I think it's VC Andrews. She might have like 2 rows. And then Miss Darcy Coates, like she'll be having 3 shelves worth of books. Like she be pumping out these horror books. So that's what I mean by like she's like the female version of Stephen King. It's like hella Stephen King and then hella Darcy Coates. And this is a haunted mansion type book. So we're gonna follow this main character named Daniel, and he's like offered a position of a groundkeeper at this manor. So I love me a good haunted house, haunted mansion story. And I read like the first 2 pages of the story and it sounded interesting. It looks like it's a pretty easy read. So, you know, I thought this would be fun, especially since it's the 1st of September, guys. It's September 1st as we speak. So we gotta start reading these horror books. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. This would be my first Darcy Coates book, so she better come through. Okay, please. And then last but not least, this has been on my TBR for like a long time. I just never physically owned the book, but I have Year of the Witching. This is like a witch story taking place in like a very Puritan town. So this is a story about a witch, the church, a Puritan town. So it is kind of similar to the Salem Witch Trials. So I'm really excited to read this. I've heard nothing but good things about the story. And I do have another Alexis Henderson book, House of Hunger. It's a vampire book. So now I have 2 Alexis Henderson books I have to get through, but I'm definitely gonna try to make this a priority to read. And I forgot to mention in my previous clip that at the cabin trip, my mother-in-law was very kind and gifted me The Housemaid. She loved this book. She was like, Michelle, you have to read this. So I was like, okay, bet, like I'll read it. I've heard a lot about this book. I know it's like super popular in the thriller world. I don't really read that much thriller books, but it is, you know, obviously about a housemaid and she's uncovering secrets in the house that she works in. So we'll see. You know, I love me a good trifling dramatic book, and thrillers do be giving that sometimes. I'm actually surprised I don't read much thriller. It's just not the genre I gravitate to. But when I do, I eat it up because, y'all, the tea is crazy. Maybe I should read more thrillers. So I'm hoping one of these books will help me pull me out of the reading slump that I'm in. So I'm kind of let down that my reading plans just kind of derailed, but I guess that just happens. I'm gonna end the video here because I don't want to drag you guys any further if I'm still in this reading rut. I am gonna go through this pile probably this week to see what book is really drawing my attention and then start it, and then I will start filming the next vlog from there. But for now, I think I just need to just figure out what I'm gonna read. If you guys made it to the end of the vlog, leave an alien emoji, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.